Welcome back, Bottle Killers. Another episode of Bottle Kill TV, and today we are in our little music t-shirts.
Yep.
That's it. I don't actually know Blink 182 that well. It's like a little shout out to little Chris. I know all the small things. Late night, I know.
Was it the last tour when Blink 182 was like doing a concert in town?
Brings me roll. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
Did you get like a free coffee because they thought you were like in Blink 182?
Yeah, true story. True story. We went to Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah.
We went to Glasgow. Blink 182 were playing on the Thursday night, so we get up. We go down from our hotel. We've got our whiskey bus. Big Kev, shout out to Big Kev to pick us up in the morning. We go down with our bags and our suitcases, and me and Canadian Jay head into Pret.
Mm-hmm.
And I order a coffee. Canadian Jay orders a coffee in his lovely Canadian accent, and then he goes, "Hold on a minute, do you have a gig last night?" I was like, maybe. Just these coffees are on us, and we got a free coffee. And now we don't know if we assumed the Blink 182 part, but I like to think that they thought I was cool enough to be a rock star. Had all the small things
For one day only.
for one day only. And then, so free coffees in Pret. So Blink 182 for that reason have a little place in my heart.
Love it.
Now, you're like, shut the hell up and get to the freaking whiskey. Lagavulin 8 we have today. So
Yeah.
we have Lagavulin 8. And the reason we picked Lagavulin 8 is because, again, we're very conscious of the discussion that people have about whiskey and pricing and price increases. Lagavulin 16 was possibly Jay's favorite whiskey for a long time in your whiskey journey. Nothing could top it. It's and a lot of people's as well. It was their gateway to peat. It was their gateway to Islay. It was their gateway to more complex, interesting whiskeys after they got a little bit bored of the supermarket space ciders. The issue is that what is it now? Probably £80.
It's kind of, I mean, yeah, like you're looking at about £75 to £80 for it. I think the thing, Lagavulin 16 changed my whole whiskey trajectory. You used to be able to pick it up for £45, £50, which, in fairness, it was probably underpriced for what it was. You know, it's a 16-year-old, incredible quality. I picked up my first bottle of it in 2018 en route to New York in the duty free, and that was like, I was working away, and when like you just want like a little dram to like at the end of the day. And I was just like, just a couple of drams a night, honestly, it was like life changing. And that really sort of was my gateway, as you say, into peat and stuff. But I sort of, obviously, we're what, 2025 now, so that is 7 years ago. And it's not a huge leap to go from like, say, 45 to 75 in that time period. But there's just this kind of mental block that I don't know. I don't want it as much at that price. So what we thought we'd do today, this came up on another episode that we did, which was a comparison of the kind of the entry-level Lefroy's, Lefroy 10 and Oak Select. Make sure you go back, have a look at that. It's a great episode. And we said we'd do Lagavulin 8 because it's kind of like the most accessible route to Lagavulin, really, for most people. You get it in Tesco's.
Yeah, so this one is that you buy it in the supermarkets, and it seems to be it spends a good time on Club Card deals, so you can actually get it at a relatively good price. So I think if you pay either £40 or £45, I think it's £60 regularly in the ticket, but they always have it on Club Card. They seem to always be making the deals where you can get it at £40, £45. I've heard really, really, really great things about this expression of Lagavulin, so I'm really interested to try it. I've not tried it before. Obviously, you have the bottles, you've drank a lot of it, but I've not. So I'm really excited to try this one because Lagavulin, we always, if you've ever watched one of our earlier episodes, we didn't have a great experience at the distillery itself because they served their Lagavulin in plastic glasses, which kind of cheapened the whole experience for us.
Crazy.
But since then, I've not had a bad Lagavulin. They just keep growing on me. I'm really, really enjoying Lagavulin at the moment. So I'm excited to try the 8-year-old.
I think it's really, really good. It's bottled at 48% as well, so From off the top of my head, from recollection, I think the 16-year-old is 43%. So you're getting a higher ABV. So you're probably expecting a bit more bite to it. And as I say, holding up the glass and just observing it, more for us here. But it's a very straw kind of whiskey, and it's a bourbon maturation. So something that we like. We like a lot of bourbon casks, especially Islay bourbon casks. Keep it simple, and that's the thing for me. I think one of my favourite expressions of Lagavulin has been the special releases, which were like 12-year-old cask strength. Typically, I think between like 2017 and 2019, just full bourbon oak maturation. Some of my favourite bottles that up there, really, really good. So this is a bourbon oak maturation. But what I like to this is it's got a creaminess to it, but it's also, I typically associate Lagavulin as being quite a meaty, savoury type peat, those kind of like tobacco, leather sofa kind of notes.
Leather chaps.
Yeah, no.
No?
Dallas, that's for another episode. The law says. Let's not give the game away. But this one is more of the coastal style of Isla Peat for me. Coastal, creamy, salty, citrus.
I was associated for some reason in my mind Lagavulin with more medicinal peat, but this isn't.
No.
But like you said, it's not a medicinal peat at all. It's more like that. It's more like that. It's more like, it's not the bonfire peat. It's the morning after bonfire peat.
Yeah.
Type of smoke.
I find it to be very.
You might see a few embers still going, but it's that sort of like that. You get out your tent and you go around the fire and congregate the morning after the night before, and that's like Wayne's wedding. It's kind of like that. That's the smoke it's giving me.
I think it's coastal style as well. When you talk about that maritime kind of peat, it's got that for me. The saltiness, as I say, citrus kind of notes like lemon juice, briny,
Saline,
but sweetness as well. Sweetness in the palate definitely comes through. Like
it's very complex.
Barley
Actually.
sugars.
So this is what's interesting about age statements, because for just if you just use the most simple logic, right? You say Lagavulin 16, and then you got a Lagavulin 8-year-old. It's going to be half as good.
Yeah,
right.
It's one way of looking at it.
If you use it just that type of logic, but actually this is in some ways has got more body to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does come in at a higher ABV, as I say.
Oh, interesting. What's the 16 ABV?
I think it's 43.
Yeah, okay.
And this is 48. But there is a nice oiliness to it, isn't there? Nice oily.
It's incredibly good. It's very. This is one which is like, it's not for amateurs.
No.
This is one where if you just do a potluck in Tesco and you get this and you don't know what you're buying, you're gonna be like, oh man, this is gonna be a slog to get through this bottle. But this is if you have a taste for Lagavulin previously, you might actually find that this supersedes the 16.
Ooh, that's a big shout. That's a bold shout. But
which is weird to think, but it's
an 8-year-old, yeah. Just sort of, I mean, thinking out loud here. From recollection, how do you think this stacks up to some of its more sort of comparable neighbours that you might benchmark it to? I'm thinking Lefroy 10, Ardbeg 10, sorry.
To me, they're totally different.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
totally different. So if you want like Lefroy 10-year-old is sold at 40%. So it just can't compete. But if you give me a Lefroy, like I told you, I had the Douglas Lyon Gold Particular Lefroy, which is served about 50, I think it was 49, I think it was.
Probably refill casks as well, which I think this is. I'd be pretty sure that this is mostly refill casks, just by
12-year-old. I'd say then we're starting to get a comparable. But of it, that's kicking Lafroig's ass than the 10-year-old Lafroig in terms of like just a what's the term Ralphie would use? Integrity whiskey.
Yeah.
This is high. This is to buy this in Tesco. Like this is really impressive.
Do you think we need to revisit our Isla Power rankings this year? We did that last year, didn't we?
This is really interesting because you know that one. I just think I said in the previous episode that we recorded today. I'm trying to move. I'm done with Pete, and there'll be a time where I go back to Pete, and it'll be fresh again. But previously I've said my palate seems to really enjoy peated whiskey, right? And so this is why. And the only reason I didn't like Lafroig is because they served it in plastic glasses, and I thought that was that was such bad form from them that I kind of had a mood on for about 2 years with Lagavulin, sorry. But actually trying it, like this is like right up my street.
It's like Silvio in The Sopranos when he's like, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, and all the guys are like laughing. It's like, just when I thought I was getting away from Pete, Lagavulin 8 turns up and just pulls you back in.
And again, it's kind of got this like this grassy sweetness to it. It's kind of got this like it's kind of got this like it's almost like it doesn't quite hit it, but it's like on the road to like a peachy tropical, but it doesn't go too far there. But it's got like a little sweetness to it.
Yeah.
So it's got that sweet and peat. It's got the body like. Because we always like I just made a thumbnail the other day and I said reviewing supermarket Lafroigs, right? And supermarket was in like quotations so people know what we're reviewing. In terms of, and it's almost like a derogatory term that people use, that you didn't buy it from a distillery or a whiskey merchant or a Masters of Malt. You bought it from the supermarket, so you're gonna have lesser quality stuff. They're putting an absolute banger in the supermarket there. That's so readily accessible that like for the best will in the world, you still might not be able to buy the Springbank release that you want at a whiskey merchant when you go.
No.
You can this will always be available in Tesco, and there's a Tesco everywhere.
Yeah.
And you might even get a club card deal where it's a lovely price.
Yeah, it does. It does turn up on club card every now and again.
And
so in the sort of like 40-ish kind of price range.
If
like
you're into drinking quality whiskey, like if you think of like Tesco right now have they seem to, I think they're trying to grow the brand awareness. So Talisker 10-year-old is always 32 pound in Tesco on club card deal. If this is 40 or 40, I think it's 45.
Yeah.
This kicks its ass. It's 50% more, right? If it's 45, right? It's 50% more in price, but it's 100% better than Talisker 10.
Yeah. I think it's a really good dram. Well put together. Like I've never not liked the 8-year-old. Even as a substitute, as I say, just because it's slightly cheaper than a 16-year-old nowadays. This I had as a backup for a while. I only opened this today. So it's one of those that I always keep kicking around.
I'm surprised, and I think you're surprised. I'm surprised. And I think I'm surprised that you're surprised and I'm surprised.
You know me. And you know you. It's just, obviously, I mean, back when we went to Lagavulin, whilst the experience there with the plastic cups was just not okay, I mean, you can see up there's a lot of Lagavulin. I've got plenty of bottles. It was, for a long time, it was my favourite Isla distillery. And I think it's unquestionable that it's quality. It's really good quality stuff. It does really well in bourbon casks, in my opinion. But obviously, your Lagavulin 16 has got the sherry notes, super complex dram. And I think part of me wanted you to like Lagavulin, wanted to pull it back. And I think that it sounds as though it's kind of warming on you. I think it's a grower. Yeah,
well, we had the Offerman edition.
Yeah.
Which you did on the channel. Actually, a lot of views on that video. I think it's our third most popular video that we've ever done.
Offerman release is very popular.
that says that people like Lagavulin, and the reason, and that guy is a character of Parks and Recreation. I don't watch it, but that's like one of the in jokes of the show. Apparently, is that he's always drinking Lagavulin.
Yeah.
So it shows
Ron
you
Swanson,
and that's an American show, right?
Yeah.
And they've made that a thing of his character. So it's obviously like people know that Lagavulin equals quality peated complex Scotch, right?
Yeah.
And I was just a little bit late to the party, but I think, and also it's only 8 years old. Look, I don't really care about age statements anymore.
Yeah.
Because the younger distilleries are producing such great young whiskies. But yeah, I'm really, really blown away.
Because 8 comes across as quite young for an age statement, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
know, you kind of like it's sub double figures, and you're still thinking like a little bit young.
Yeah.
I wonder how it would stack up against like a wee beastie.
Is that logic? Is that logic? Like I said, you think it's going to be half as good, and then you buy an 18-year-old over a 12-year-old, and you expect it to be, you know, a third better.
Yeah. I've got a 7-year-old Lagavulin up there as well, which is
better, you know, but it's not. You
No.
know, it's actually different because they use different casks a different way.
But yeah, I've got a 7-year-old up there that they released. I think it was for the Jazz Festival a couple of years back, and it wasn't just one of my favorite like Lagavulins. It was one of my favorite whiskies of the year. Really, really good. Again, bourbon cask, like does really well. So, and I think the myth that older equals better has kind of been busted when you've got like things like the Turbo, 5 years old, just absolutely like incredible. Lockley have done some really good young age statements.
So it's kind of funny that Silvio quote rings in my mind because we recorded an episode today where we kind of had a little breakup with Ardbeg, and I kind of like in my mind, the picture I had in my mind as I was talking about it was kind of like, you know, Game of Thrones when Daenerys goes and she goes back to Westeros for the first time, they load up the boats, and I think it ends the series on her and the boats are going over to Westeros and she's leaving. Can't remember what the other Dawn or I can't remember what the island's called, the mainland, and they set sail, and that's kind of how I ended that episode. It's kind of like we set sail, we're sailing from Ireland not to go back for a long time. I'm actually like, put the anchors down. I want to stay. I want to stay on Isla, and I love it. You know, I always say that Lafroig is maybe my favorite distillery because I just love the character of Lafroig. Lagavulin as well. I do love Isla whiskey.
Yeah,
it is. If we're talking about whiskey and my passion for whiskey and my hobby for whiskey, Isla definitely is my go-to.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. Well, I think Lagavulin 8-year-old has definitely turned the tide on your opinion of them. I was drinking some Lagavulin last night. Like it's always one that I'll always drink, and I'll always keep a bottle of this in, especially, you know, when the price is right. For me, it's an absolute buy, Michael. I think for you.
Well, I think the important message, and this is the message I want to get out to the channel, is that, you know, Lagavulin have obviously recognised that the 16 has become too expensive for an entry point whiskey, and sort of they've made the 8-year-old, and people's expectation is that now actually we're gonna have to. We used to get 16, now we're getting 8. Come on. I actually think you may be getting a better entry level whiskey in Lagavulin for this. So the 16 was always like £55, right? You get this £40, £45. This is actually a better entry to Lagavulin than you think. So don't think like, oh, now they're cheaping out on me.
Unsung hero.
No. They've done this because they need to have something at this price point. No, actually, they've put their heart and soul into this one and made something that's fantastic. This is not a because we have to have an entry level offering. This is a banger.
Very good. Well, there you go. Lagavulin 8-year-old. It's a buy. Pick yourself up a bottle, get it on that club card deal, and you know, maybe don't judge it in the shadow of its older brother. And on that note, I will say, I hope you've had a good time. I've certainly had a good time. Michael, have you had a good time?
Surprised.
And we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV. Okay, so as we always do on Bottle Kill TV, we've got a very short 2-minute review of the Lagavulin 8 years old. I'm going to let Michael start telling us about this one. So, what do you think?
Surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Delightfully surprised on this one. I had expectation for this because people had said that it was a very, very good whiskey, and this is the reason I wanted to do it as a review on the channel. It not even met those expectations; it exceeded them. This is phenomenal at 8 years old.
Yeah, I think Michael sort of cited it in the episode, and it's worth going back and having a look. But if you're sort of viewing this as an entry-level whiskey, you're getting an absolute treat. You know, this for me is more for people that have advanced a bit more in the whiskey journey because it's got such complexity. It's a really great opportunity to see the characteristics of the Lagavulin spirit. I'm pretty sure it's been matured in refill hogsheads. And this is just a delightfully creamy, it's got some lovely kind of coastal, maritime notes, salty, citrus, lemon peels, complexity way wise beyond its years. And I'm only just talking about the nose right now. And then you get into it and it's got this lovely sweetness, again, some of that saltiness coming through on the palate. That kind of like subdued campfire smoke, like the embers of the bonfire the morning after. Peaty, sweet, complex, just an incredible journey and a great entry to the Lagavulin experience.
It's nice to be surprised. It's nice to be surprised, and I think it's an absolute buy. So this one is readily available. You should be able to see this, and even just on your weekly shop, grab it if you've wanted to try Lagavulin. Great time to try it.
Absolutely. And you know what that is? That's the sound of glass. You always get a glass at the bottle killer, at the house of the bottle killer. No plastic cups here. And on that note, we'll see you next time on Bottle Kill TV.